Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. You know what? I love saying this hello, everybody kind of slogan or jingle. I don't know what it is because it's me. Like, I know that when you guys hear that or when you guys read that, you automatically think of me saying hi to you or greeting you. But I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I want to talk to you guys a little bit of something that I've been going through lately. And it's something that I think most of you can relate because I feel like my audience is within that young adults range. I feel like you guys are from 20 to 30. So what I'm going to speak about today, you have either already gone through it, you're going through it right now, or you're probably about to go through it. So just listen carefully, and it's just gonna be a chat. Honestly, I don't want to make this episode very formal or very sophisticated. It's literally just a chat. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna vent and we're gonna talk and we're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're right, oh I haven't gone through that, but I know what you mean. Okay, something around the store. Okay, so why don't we just get to it? So without further ado, my name is Ava. I am your host for this beautiful, amazing, wonderful podcast, the Shine Your Light podcast. Let's get to it, guys. We were talking about friendships, and I know that we could have said so much more, but I know that a lot of you actually related to that. And we talked about a lot of things that go into a friendship, especially when we're Christians, because when we're Christian, we have to think about people who are going to push us forward to God, not away from God. People who are going to align with our purpose, with our vision, and people who are going to be in fellowship with us, worshiping God. So I was thinking, and it has so much to do with, growing up and becoming an adult and whatnot. And you guys, this year I turned 25. Most of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, you don't look 25. Others are going to be like, girl, you're a baby. What are you talking about? 25 is nothing. I know there's a lot of thoughts that are going to come to mind right now, but just hear me out. For me, I feel so old. I feel like, how did I get here? When did I get here? What? I'm 25? Like, when they say go call an adult, I look around to go call an adult. I am not an adult. I don't feel like an adult. But turning 25 has shifted my mind so much. Not even because it's like one more year or I'm doing different things. No, I don't know why, but I definitely felt a difference from turning 24 to turning 25. Like, as soon as I hit June 4th, which is my birthday, everything started appearing different, sounding different, looking different, and my emotions were all over the place. I don't know why, and still are, but I feel like everything that is going on around me and just turning 1 year older was a little overwhelming, I guess. So what do I mean by all this? So turning 25 has definitely made me feel a little more nostalgic. But today I want to talk to you guys about things that I've learned in my 25 years of being in this earth, and things that I'm going through right now, and things that I have learned to do moving forward. I mean, you guys already know my testimony, or at least some part of it. I grew up in church. I have been in church my entire life, but around 15, 16, the prime teenage years, that's when I was rebelling and doing my own thing. But coming back to really serving God fully, wholeheartedly on my account, not because they raised me that way, coming back, there have been a lot of things that I've learned since I took the decision to really follow God when I was around 17 years old. I've learned that I've had to let go of a lot of things. I've learned that it's not always going to be my way. I've learned that sometimes God's purpose will definitely hurt. And I've learned that people come and go. There's different people for different seasons in our lives, you know? But turning 25, I don't know why, I have felt like everything is changing so fast. And I've talked about this with a lot of my friends that I went to middle school with, and high school and even college. And I personally just feel like everything is changing so fast. And I am starting to feel nostalgic. And after turning 25, what really hit me the most is my family. So turning 25 really gave me a different vision of my parents. That one hit me hard. I started to notice that my parents are not as strong anymore, that their facial features are changing, that their bodies are changing, that they're not as fast, or that they're not doing things the same way. And don't come at me, and you better not go tell my dad and my mom that I'm saying that they're old, because then I will get it. But listen to me. I am seeing so many things change, and it's like I've had an epiphany, and now I realize that not everything will stay the same forever. And I read this quote the other day, and it hit me. Like, you have to wake up every day not saying, here we go, one more day. You have to wake up every single day saying, here we go, one day less. And I talked to this about the church the other day, because we have to think, we don't know when Jesus is coming. We don't know when our last day on this earth is coming. But something that I do know is that we have a purpose. We have a potential that we need to reach in this earth. We have an assignment that God gave us when we came to earth. Now, the question is, when you present yourself before the Lord, are you going to say, yes, Lord, I went and I did and I accomplished and I fulfilled that purpose? Or are you going to say, Lord, I didn't have enough time. I got distracted. I started to do this. I started to do that. I went into my business. I did all these sorts of endeavors and I didn't have time. Which one are we going to be? Are we going to be the one who said, yes, Lord, I took advantage of every single day that you gave me, every single minute, every single hour, and I was able to accomplish everything? Or are we going to be the one who is going to put excuses and say, Lord, I got busy, I didn't have time, I didn't know how, I didn't have this, I didn't have that? Which one are we going to be? So every day that we're on this earth, we have to take advantage of it as much as we can. We have to go out there and really do the things that we need to do, that we want to do, that our heart desires, that God has told us to do, because every day that we wake up is a day less from what we have here on earth. So when I was turning 25, I started seeing how everything is changing around me, and that everything is not going to stay the same forever. And it just made me cherish everything a little more. I've always been very close to my family. I've always been very family oriented. We always do things together. You will always see me with my family. But these past few days, I have learned to cherish them more, to cherish our relationship, and to really nurture our relationship, because maybe I was getting distracted. You know, when we're teenagers, we think that mom and dad are going to be the same and are going to be there forever. But unfortunately, it's not like that. People change, people go, people disappear, you know? So when I was thinking all of this, I really had this feeling in my heart that I needed to take time with my parents, make time for my parents, and really cherish the moments that I have to talk to them, because there is so many things happen on the daily, you know, and we get distracted and we don't have time. We don't make time. We say, no, I can do that later. I'll talk to them later. I don't need to talk to them right now. My friends are waiting for me. I need to hang out. I need to go out. I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. I need to do that. But we have to take into consideration what our priorities are, what the important things in our lives are, you know? So that's something that has hit me really big. And as you guys know, every summer my family and I, we go to Arizona. So when I went this summer, I decided to really give it my all with them, make those memories, make those long lasting memories, make those traditions, because one day it's not going to be like this anymore. One day we're not going to be all together, riding in the same car or living in the same house or living in the same city even. And I was talking to my sister throughout this whole time as well. And I told her, listen, I know that right now you may not want to hear everything that I tell you or the advice, because I was in that position at one point as well. My mom telling me do this, don't do that. My dad telling me do this, you need to do that. But me in my teenage years, I don't need to listen to them right now. I can worry about that ahead. I can worry about that later. That is not in my agenda right now. But I really tried to get to her mind and her heart and let her know that we have to take these moments and cherish them, not take them for granted, because everything around us will say, if you're looking for a career, that career will happen. If it's in God's will, that career will happen. But the things that aren't here forever are the ones that we need to focus on more. Focus on our friends, focus on our family, focus on living in the moment. Today's society is crazy with social media and highlights and reels and this and that. We are trying so much to look good in front of people that we are not enjoying the moments that we are living in. You may see so many people on social media smiling and having fun and being here, being there. But when you sit down and you talk to them face to face and you have a real conversation with them and you get deep, you realize that these people are not even close to what they seem on social media. So what am I saying with this? We need to learn to live in the moment. We need to learn to be in the moment, because these moments are not going to come back. Time flies by. You don't have all day. You don't have all year, all month. There's certain things that you need to focus on in your life. And honestly, that is what has hit me so hard since turning 25. I've realized that I don't have a lot of time. Yes, I know there's no deadline and everyone has a different timeline, but you have to take advantage of the moments that you do have. You have to take advantage of the minutes that you do have. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that come at your hand, because if God has placed something in your path, in your hands, in your mind, it's for a reason. No thought is too small. No dream is too small or too big. No, if God placed it right there, is because he did it with a reason. Anyway, so aside from that, something that I have learned in these 25 years, but honestly more in the last 3 years, are a couple of things that I want to share with you. When I moved to college in Orlando, I learned so much about myself. I learned that I love my solitude. I learned that I'm actually not as much as an extrovert as I thought. Shocker. Because I've always been a social butterfly. I've always been out there and talking to people. But when I went over there, I realized that I'm actually not 100% an extrovert. I will talk to you. I will talk to anyone out there. I will go to places and meet people and, a social butterfly. But I am also very reserved. So that was in 2021 when I went to Orlando. So I realized that I am not 100% an extrovert. But other than that, I realized a lot of things about myself. And what do I want to say with this? That as you grow older, you are going to change. You're going to change a lot of the things that you've been doing forever. You're going to change a lot of the things that you have been saying, that you have been wearing, that you have been doing, people that you have been hanging out with. And it's okay, because it's part of a process and it's called growing up. So although we may think that we have ourselves figured out, although we may think that we are set on who we are or that our person is complete, let me tell you that we are not complete. I think that we never stop growing actually, and we never stop evolving. We never stop changing, and we never stop thinking differently as well. So that is something that I realized when I was living in Orlando, and I learned to love to be alone. I learned to love to do things on my own. And that is one of the topics that I'm going to touch in a little bit. But aside from learning a lot of things in my solitude, one thing that I have also learned in the past few years is something that I think we can all relate with, and something that I think we must all talk about. If you want real happiness, it has to come through God. If you want real happiness, it has to come through God. And it's not that I'm being religious. It's not that I'm being, oh, you're being so religious. You're just mentioning that because all you think about is God. No. But the thing is that God is joy. God is peace. God is love. And with the fruits of the Spirit, happiness, joy, love, they're all in there. It's a whole bundle. And we can't be looking in the world for happiness or something to fill our void, our heart, or something that's in our heart or in our life that's missing, and replace it with things that are not meant from God. A lot of people, when they are in their teenage years or as young adults, they go to parties, they go to the drinking, they go to the drugs, they go to all these things to try to fill a void within them. But ask them the next day how they feel. Ask them how they feel in a week. Let's not even say a month. I mean, when they're in the moment, when they are in the high, when they are in the partying, you're going to see them smiling and laughing and everything. But take a look at them later. One day after. 2 days after, 3 days after. The pain comes back, the sorrow comes back, the guilt comes, the rejection comes, and all of these things that are not from God come. And within all of these things that I just mentioned, happiness is not one of them. But when you go to the source of happiness, when you go to the source of joy, and you find your happiness there, that's eternal. The happiness that God gives you, no one can take away. The happiness that God gives you does not change. It does not bring something that's going to worsen your life. No. Take a look at this. Happiness that comes from God will bring you health. Happiness that comes from God will be abundant. Happiness that comes from God will be everlasting. And happiness that comes from God will bring salvation. A lot of people always come to me and they're like, but how do you even have fun? You don't drink, you don't party, you don't go out, you don't do this, you don't do that. How do you have fun? What do you do? Your life seems kind of boring. Well, the thing is that your definition of happiness is not my definition of happiness. Your definition of having fun is not my definition of having fun. I don't necessarily have to go to drugs or alcohol to feel happy or feel joy or have fun. Because the thing is that I'm also not looking for something temporary. If I go out and drink, that's going to be something temporary. And that's not even going to be nice because the next day the hangover comes and this and that, all of that, you know, there's always strings attached. But the thing is that when we have fun in a healthy way, it lasts. You remember, you enjoy it. There's so many things that come with it. And that is all that God gives us. Happiness is a blessing. Happiness is something you can enjoy. And obviously we all want and we all need. But when you go out there in the world and look for happiness, that is not going to be there. That's going to be some temporary emotion, temporary feeling, but happiness can only come from God. And like I just said, all of these things come with happiness that comes from God. It's going to be abundant. You're going to feel joy everywhere you go. So the people that you talk to, they're going to give you happiness and you're going to give them happiness. They're going to give you joy. You're going to feel joy as soon as you go into a room. When you look for happiness and it comes from God, it's going to be everlasting. It's not going to be some emotion that comes today and leaves tomorrow, or comes in waves, comes in phases, or is always only there when someone is there, when I'm with some people. No. It's always going to be there because it is everlasting, because God is everlasting. And ultimately, it's going to bring you salvation. The happiness that God provides you will not distract you, will not tear you down, will not put you in a worse place. No. It's only going to bring you salvation. It's going to lead you on the right path to God. It's going to lead you in the right direction to the right people, to the right decisions. You're going to feel full. You're going to feel that you have accomplished because it comes from God. There's so many things that we could say about happiness that comes from God, but that is literally one of the best ones that I can think of. As you grow old, you realize that there's a lot of things that you can do to have fun, and maybe it's not the same thing that you did last year, but when it comes from God, it's everlasting. That's all I can say right there. Something else that I learned in my recent years is to limit myself. And what do I mean by this? I have always been a people person. I am always there to serve. I'm always giving advice. I am always giving. People talk to me, they vent, I give them advice, I give them word, I give them encouragement, I give them love, of course. But many times you have to limit yourself. You have to limit yourself because you will feel drained. You will feel burnt out. And trust me, I am one who was once always saying, no, what? Me limit myself? But I mean, that's what friends do. Friends are supposed to give their all. Friends are supposed to help at all times. But the thing is that you have to realize, you have to be aware of the people who are around you. You have to be aware of these friendships. Are they symbiotic? Are they something that I give and I receive? Or is it only going one way? Am I only giving and not receiving? Like, I don't know if you have ever gone out to get coffee with a friend that you haven't seen in a while, and you realize that you asked them about their friends, their family, how are they doing, their career, but once you get in your car going back home, you're like, wait a minute, that didn't feel very fun like I thought it would. Because the thing is that sometimes we have people in our life that only take away from us, and they don't really give back. So that's something that I've learned as I have gotten older, that not everyone is going to have full access to me. Not everyone is going to have full attention from me as well. And it's not that I'm being a hypocrite, or it's not that I'm being selfish, nothing like that. It just means that I'm going to be selective of the people who I will give my attention to, and selective of the people who will receive from me, because I need to understand that I come first before anything, before anyone, obviously after God. But as you grow older, you have to maintain your focus. You have to really know what you're doing, why you're doing it, for who you're doing, what friends you have around you, what people you have around you. So I think it's very important to limit yourself. I've always been the kind of person who gives my all to people. Like, if I am your friend, if you call me at 3 a.m, I will answer the phone at 3 a.m, and I will talk to you, and I will pray for you, and I will be there for you. But I also have learned in the past couple of years to give myself time as well, to think about myself, to think about my priorities, my health, my well-being, my peace. So limiting myself and limiting myself to others is something super important that I have learned. I mean, I've always been a talker, I've always been a giver, but I have to learn, and I am learning, how to say no, how to say, sorry, I can't, or sorry, not this time, or I know someone who can help you, but not take it all upon myself, I have gone through so many friendships where I have spread myself too thin. I have given my all, and in the end, those friendships literally disappear in the worst ways. Like, no goodbye, No, see you later. No, it was nice talking to you. It was nice being a friend. No, nothing at all. They just like leave out of the blue. So I have, in a relationship, you have heartbreaks, but when it comes to friendships, you also tend to have heartbreaks. So I have learned to be selective and really get to know the person before giving them my all. But at the same time, limiting myself to people, because you never know. People come and go. People leave, and people go off and wonder. But I think something else that is very important through it all is your part in that relationship and that friendship. Something that I have learned in the recent years is to be the difference everywhere I go, to be the light everywhere I go. And how can you be the light? To leave people better than how you met them. I was talking to a friend and I mentioned how relationships are not always going to work out. And I'm talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, dating, marriage type of thing, couples now. Not everyone is going to be the person for you. And although many times we want it to be that person, it's not going to be that person. But many times people come into our life not so we can date them, not so they can become more than friends, but because God wants us to make an impact in their life. Many times God is going to put people in our life so we can make their life better, so we can shed some light, so we can shed some love, so we can share God's love to them. And it might be that they're going to be only for a season in our life, but God wants us to make an impact in their life in that season. God wants for us to change how they think, to change how they perceive things, to change the way that they react to things maybe, and to show them overall that they can become a better person. In my experience, I was once talking to this person and I honestly thought that it was going to turn into something else. And we both actually thought that. But after some time and things not working out, I realized that we did not meet each other so we could become a couple or be in a relationship. We were brought into each other's lives so we can make each other's lives better. He taught me a lot of things. I taught him a lot of things. We both learned about a lot of things. We learned about ourselves even. We learned about things that we would have never learned. So what I gained from this experience was that whoever you talk to, whether it's a potential spouse or whether it's a friend or whether it's a coworker or I don't know, anything else, remember to always leave people better than how you met them. Because maybe that friendship won't last, but the impact that you made will definitely last. The love that you gave will definitely last. And maybe things don't end on a good note, but let me tell you that when they are going through something, they will hear your words in their mind and they will say, I remember that this person told me this and they gave me this advice. And although we don't talk anymore, I still keep that advice. That is exactly what I mean when I say leave them better than how you met them. And my mom always says that, like, wherever you go, leave it better, leave it better. If you touch something, leave it better, because we're supposed to bless, we're supposed to be better, you know? So honestly, dealing with people, I've learned a lot of things. I learned about my personality. I learned about my attitude, my character, and I have learned so much in the last year. This one, guys, is in the last year. I have always been very strong-willed. My mom is very strong, very, I don't know. If you know my mom, you know what I mean, though. Like, nothing goes around. You can never, my mom is the type of person that she will not like you first and then like you. Like, you know, you introduce your friends to your mom and at first she's like, oh, hi, how are you? And she likes them, but then you do something wrong or they do something wrong and mom automatically doesn't like. Nope, my mom is the other way around. My mom will not like you first and then you do something and then she will like you. So having that kind of person in my life has definitely taught me a lot. I have always bumped heads with her because we think alike, but we bump heads. So, in the last few years growing up, I have realized that a lot of the things that she has told me are correct, and that a lot of the things that she has told me or given advice to me or showed me or taught me are for a reason. But with her as a role model in my life and as a mentor, I have learned how to mold my personality, my attitude, my character, my persona. I've learned how to deal with my mouth because I have a very quick reaction to things. But in the last year, I have realized that there is something way more important than having a strong attitude, a strong personality, or being mad or aggressive or serious all the time. And what I've learned in the past year is that I don't have to be the first one to speak, and I don't have to be the last one to speak. And if you're a girl, I think you may understand this because I feel like this aims more towards the girls. We always want to be the first to have the word. Like, I'm going to talk first and you're going to listen to me. I'm going to say this and you're going to do this. But we also want to have the last word. Like, what I say is going to be done and it's end of discussion. Or I told you so, so that's it. End of discussion. We always want to have the first word and the last word. Like, you said something? Did you say something? Because I'm going to say something back. But in the last year, I have learned that it's not about the arguing. It's not about who yells the loudest. It's not about who has the last word. It's about the person who maintains their character, who maintains their emotions and learns how to control them. You gotta be the bigger person. And something I have lived by for a couple of years now is you gotta kill them with kindness, people. You literally have to be the bigger person wherever you are. And sometimes it's gonna be hard. Let me tell you, I know about it, but it is worth it along the way. I've learned that arguing is gonna get you nowhere. It's to see who yells the loudest. No, it doesn't work like that. And honestly, I don't have to be right all the time. It's very stressful and it's draining and it burns you out. So these last few years, or actually, like I said, this last year, I've learned that I am okay with not having the first word, with not having the last word, and not having to be right all the time. And honestly, I think all of this just prepares you to be that person for someone, Because when it comes to women, for example, we are called to be Proverbs 31 women. We are called to be submissive. We are called to be a house a woman who builds her house and brings her family closer to God. But when we are just trying to be on the defensive side the whole time and trying to argue and find a little argument about everything, I mean, it doesn't make things better, So I have learned, and especially when it comes to like living with family, I live with my parents, I live with my siblings, and it gets stressful trying to fight people off all the time. So that's just something that I've learned. And it comes from dealing with people and relationship building, I don't have to be the first one to speak. I don't have to be the last one. I don't have to be the one who says it all. And that just comes with maturing. It definitely comes with maturing as you grow old. So to finish off, I want to talk about something else that I have learned in this past year. And I think it's something that most of us can relate to and most of us can talk about, I have been going through some things, and as you guys have seen through my stories and my Instagram, I've been trying to do a lot of new things in my life lately. I have been trying to be more active. So what I did was find a way to make myself be active, find a way to make myself be out there doing things that I would not normally do. So I have had a gym membership my entire life. Have I used it my entire life? that's another topic for another day, but not today. So what was I doing with this gym membership? I don't know. It was not getting me anywhere. I was not going to the gym. And even when I did go to the gym, I literally didn't know what to do. So that just made me not want to go. But I found out about this app that gave you options to try new things and to book classes and whatnot. So I was looking into different activities that I could do. Activities that would keep me active, but activities that would also allow me to meet new people. So with all this being said, I am trying to do things that I would not normally do. I have been trying to push myself and be out there when I wouldn't normally be doing that. Like I told you before, I learned to love my solitude. You will never see me just out because I want to go out or because I feel like it. No, it's probably because someone has asked me to hang out or asked me to do something, but I love being at home. I am a homebody, but it is so important for us at any age, honestly. But I feel like in your 20s, it's important for you to experience new things. But the thing that I have learned the most in the past few months is that we have to do things with risks. What do you mean with risk? Why does it have to be risky? Here's the thing. Just listen to me. We have to do things with risk and be afraid. And you're just probably saying things like, okay, so first you say we have to do things that are risky. And now you're saying that we have to do things that we're afraid of? Yeah, pretty much, honestly. The thing is that it's better to be afraid than to not be afraid. And now I'm probably just confusing you. You're like, okay, Ava, what are you saying? Like, you're saying a whole bunch of things that are just not making sense. Okay, let me explain. We have to learn how to take risks in our life. Why? Because if we don't, we will never get out of our comfort zone. We will never experience things that we have never done. We will never be able to grow. We will never be able to see, to hear, to taste, to do so many things if we don't take risks. Honestly, the moment that you wake up, you start taking risks. If you get up from bed, you're taking a risk. Did you know that? Yeah, you're taking a risk that you may fall, that you may trip over something. You're risking your life, but that's the whole point. Your whole life is a risk. You should take those risks and obviously be mindful, pray about it, ask the Lord, but don't let fear stop you. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let fear control your path, control your future. It's better to be afraid because if you're not, it's not big enough. That's what I meant. If you are not afraid to do something, it means that you're not challenging yourself enough. If you're not afraid to do something, it means that it's not big enough for you. And you should always, every day, be challenging yourself. Be going for that's bigger. Be going for that bigger dream, that bigger goal, that bigger, career advancement, anything. But any little thing that you may think is going to stop you, it's all in your head. It's all in your mind. It's all thoughts. It's all thoughts. But what do I want to say with all this is that we have to learn how to take risks. We have to learn how to be people who get out of the comfort zone and try new things and change the path of our families. I think your 20s are such a pivotal time in your life because this is the moment that you are able to do things that you will never be able to do again. Honestly, I think that your 20s it's such a prime time because I don't know if you've noticed, but the older generations by their 20s, they had everything set. They had families with 2 children already and were living and set and stable. But now, even if you're 30 is so young. And I feel like 30s is the new 20s now. So if you're 20, you're still a child. I'm still a child, but I feel old. I don't know. That's my thought. But even so, I think it's so important for you to go out there, be out there and trying out new things, because one day you're not going to be able to do that. One day you're not going to have the ability and the privilege to just do anything at any moment, at any time. So it's so important for you to take those risks, to get out of your comfort zone. If you have something in mind that you want to accomplish before the end of the year, this is your time. This is your reminder. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but the year is about to end. So if you haven't done what you promised yourself you were going to do this year, this is your reminder to go out there and do it. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until the end of the month. No. Remember, I always say this, and I know a lot of people see this on social media. It's not about one day. It's about the day one. All right? You can't just be waiting for that one day. You can't just be waiting for the right time, for the right people, for the right resources. Remember that if God put something in your heart, it's because he wants you to accomplish it. So if God put it in your heart, just trust him. Just trust the process. Just take that initial step because he's going to do the rest. And remember that when God promises something, he always fulfills it. So he's going to prepare you. He's going to give you the resources. He's going to give you the people that need to be by your side. He's going to equip you with everything. Your job is to take that initial step. You have no idea how many blessings you have been missing out because you have not taken that initial step. You have no idea how many blessings you've missed out on, how many opportunities, how many chances you've missed out on because you have not been risky enough, because you have not been obedient enough to the word of God to go out there and take those blessings. God has so many opportunities for you. God has so many blessings for you. God has promised an abundant life for you, but it's up to you to take that initial step, to have initiative, to have determination, to go out there and actually accomplish. So, I don't know if this is for you, but this is just a reminder that you need to take that initial step, that the day is today, that you need to take that step to move forward in your life, to move towards that dream, to move towards that goal. Don't wait until the last week of the year to do so. Don't wait until you're 30, 40, 50, 60 to do something. Do it today. Tomorrow is never promised. But something I do know is that you can do it, because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So these are just a few things that I've honestly been learning these past few years, months, days, but 25 has hit me hard. If 25 has hit you hard, please do let me know in the comments, because I feel like I'm the only one. But I don't know, maybe someone else also felt this way when they turned 25. But for me, honestly, I have been feeling more nostalgic. I've been feeling more in the moment, but I've been feeling like everything is just going by so fast and I need to grasp it all before it's all gone. So I don't know if this is you, but this is me. But I really hope that you have enjoyed today's talk. I really rambled all over the place. I had so many thoughts in mind, but like I said, I wanted to be more of an informal conversation between us, a little chat about things that happened, but I just want to also be that light in your life, and I want to be that reminder to not waste your days. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time in things that aren't important, or I don't know, things that are not going to benefit you. Remember that it's about the people, it's about the moments, it's about the everlasting happiness. Anyways, I hope that you were able to learn something or hear something new or remind yourself about something while hearing this episode. But thank you so much for joining today. I also hope that you have an amazing week. But we are starting a new month, so take this month and do everything you can to accomplish everything you can. Take this month, take a moment today to write down your goals, to write down some things that you want to accomplish. And remember that it comes a little more serious when you write it down. I don't know if that happens to you, but for me, that's something I've learned, that I may think about something, but as soon as I write it down, it becomes real. So try that. Write down, journal, write down your goals and go for it. Go for it. Go for it. This is your month, but it all depends on you. Take the initiative to do what you want to do. Take the initiative to go out there and be the difference and show people what you're capable of, but show people who is working within you. I couldn't do all of this if it wasn't for God. I would not even be here if it wasn't for Jesus, for his love, his redemption. I could go on, but let's start out the month correctly, people. Let's do it together. Let's encourage each other, and let's just go for it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that we can see each other again soon. And for next week's episode, I'm thinking about doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions, I'm going to answer them in the next episode. So leave them in the comments. Leave them in the comments or DM me. And I really hope to hear your questions. Please go easy on me. But I'll see which ones I answer. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna answer all of them. So if you have any questions, just let me know, because I want the next episode to be a little more personal, getting to know each other a little more. But thank you so much for joining today. I am so happy. I always love to have these moments with you guys, because I feel like I get to share and really be more personal, not just through stories or posts or TikToks, but thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining. I love all of you. Thank you for your support, for your prayers all the time. I appreciate you and I feel you. So yeah, without any more to say, thank you guys. Have a great week. I am Ava, and this is your amazing, wonderful, anything else that you may want to add podcast, the Shine Your Light podcast. Remember, wherever you go, do not ever stop shining your light. Bye, guys.